My name is Mark Doherty. I'm a physician. I'm 66 years old. I live in Washington State, and I've known Jim and Roxanne for 20 plus years. And I've been in very much of a rigid, scientific, very Catholic, very mother, father, preacher, teacher kind of an atmosphere. And I think a part of me has always asked the question and never really felt like I fit in. And for example, I have, I appreciate what the Catholic faith gave me a great deal. A sense of spirituality, a sense of deeper thinking, a sense of deeper searching, a sense of a greater power, us not knowing that it was us. And I really was struggling. How do I describe the struggling? It was just like, life is hard. And I guess I bumped into Jim and Roxanne when I was just at the point of putting my head on the table, banging it on the table, saying it's got to be easier than this. And I can't describe beyond that. I mean, academics was a tough course for me. I think I was kind of a hider and found myself in the library. And while in the library, I thought, well, why don't I achieve? And so I became what I am. And not that it was a bad thing. It was a good path. I believe in healing. I believe in being a healer, teacher, and it fit right in. But I didn't fit in with that type of, it's like Western medicine versus complementary medicine. I think science is over here and it's very technical. You go to work. This is how the kidney works. This is how the skin is. I'm a dermatologist, by the way. This is how this looks in this diagnosis. And so, but I was kind of busy over here trying to find out who I am. Even when I was a little kid, I remember when I was in early high school, I wanted to be holy. I wanted to be good. And, I would go to mass at very early morning before school. And one day my dad woke up and said, "What are you doing? Where are you going at 6 a.m.? This is why I'm going to mass." So he joined me. And that was actually kind of a neat bond. But in any event, college came along, med school came along, career came along, relationships came along, and I was not satisfied. And one day, Jim and Roxanne they were the library book that fell off the shelf. And I had a sibling who said, "You've got to see this guy." And the one thing that attracted me to him was everything about my life and how I was raised. And let's go talk about spirituality was other-centered. And it's out there somewhere. The answer is out there somewhere. And I think the one thing that I received from Mastering Alchemy was that the answer is right here, and I'm it. That the idea of me being a reflection of Creator was, yeah, I heard that, but I didn't hear it for a long time. And then finally, okay, I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it. That this is it. Do people change? Do people get better? I was finding that people don't change much. Who I knew at 12, 14, 15 years old, they're the same kind of people at 30, 40, 50 years old. And do people change much? But mainly just about me. What am I all about? And is this why I'm here? And is this all that is? If this is all that there is, then let's just keep dancing. But I thought, I just can't just keep dancing. There's got to be more than this. And what I found with Mastering Alchemy was immediate gratification. Just take a look at this, and wow, I knew that all along. I learned how to discern when I had put it aside that, stop discerning, stop being intuitive, stop, again, mother, father, preacher, teacher, life. And I'm telling you, going through, and I had a long career of academics in training to get where I am. More schooling and more fellowships and more training. And beyond just you're done, go out and practice. And what I found was never measuring up, never being good enough, never. Finally, I reached a point where with Jim, it was you can't do it wrong, and it was warm, it was comfortable, is like it was impossible to not be okay. These sound like little pat phrases, but they were immediate. It's like, okay, you're not broken. And so how do I apply it? I think for me, I'm becoming the man that I've always wanted to be, but then I realize, whoa, wait a minute, where those words come from, I'm becoming who I've always been. And now I'm embracing it and I'm excited about it because I kind of like who I've always been, because I kind of like that guy inside there. I go to the office, I go down my hall and have heaven on earth. I've been here in clinics, and I can apply it to just interaction with staff, interaction with people, their people, and nobody's broken. They never were, and they're not victims. And I see third dimension come out, and I see that they're, no, I'm done beating my head on the table. It's totally not necessary. And the flat spot is now filled out. And yet I know that at the other end of the hall, same clinic, same atmosphere, same providers, same staff, that I find them unhappy. And what do? You're just there. You just be who you are. And so before I couldn't see the contrast or the difference in you're right, it doesn't have to be this hard. There's no need to pound your head on the table. Here, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And you might have heard Jim say these things in other ways, but I'm saying these things my way. And again, this is where Mastering Alchemy has told me what I already know and knew, and I didn't know how to say it. The other thing that really helped me during probably a tough time dealing with just the human condition and, being subordinate to people who were not nice was I forget the terminology exactly. You're better than most, bigger than none, or bigger than most, better than none. And it made it okay for me to not be number one, but you're right, I am better than that. Because people who were not bigger than most, better than none, were convincing me that I wasn't even good enough. And it's not about out there. This is all my, I know I choreographed all of this. I did put the bag on my head with a pinhole and came here, and that pinhole is getting bigger and bigger. But I put the bag on my own head. I think Mastering Alchemy is a way to discover yourself or discover what you already know. It's frustrating because I would love to sit down with Jeshua. I would love to sit down with Michael of all entities. I would love to sit down and say, hey, what gives? And have him talk back, but hear the words in my physical ear. It's a way of discovering who I am. And when you start there, then, and I think that's for people who are wondering, why am I here and who am I? Not everybody, and they give up. There are people who will never ask that question, and that's perfectly fine. And yet there are people who never ask that question, but never have to. They know who they are. And sometimes they're just people with a mop bucket, which is fascinating to me. Is, everybody has something to say. I really appreciate the idea of, I was in my 40s when this started, and a lot of people around me were in 40s, 50s. Now those people are 70s and 80s. And the flower that bloomed now has a flower within it that's blooming, and we've set the groundwork being the tip of the arrow. I appreciate the fact that there is now more of an opportunity for community. They were fascinating. I felt community, but at the same time, I felt still working on my stuff. That's why I'm here. And it was easy, hard and easy. It was easy to do the work. I just had to do the work, and it wasn't that hard of work. It was kind of an easier version of what I'd been doing all along anyway in workload. It wasn't a do loop. It wasn't you've got to do A, B, C, D. It wasn't a treasure hunt. It was just pay attention. That's all at these meetings. Fantastic community when they're put on. I hope we do them again. I think I was level 3 when level 3, before it became level 3, it was just something. I remember when Mastering Alchemy was Avalon before it became Mastering Alchemy. So yes, I did 1, I did 2, I did 3. I have the book. I read the book. I play with the book a little bit, but mostly I'm visual tactile. So I over and over and over again, pieces of level 1. Again, the tools, that kind of thing. So did I do it? Yes, I did 1, 2, 3 reset conferences. I did park bench, and it's moving faster and faster and faster. What's going on? And those who are coming on now, they're there. That they get it. I remember Jim used to give talks, and he would say, I better hurry up. We take a lunch break, and I come back, and you caught up with me. I give you homework, and you do it before lunch is over, And so, yeah. Do I go to these conferences? Yeah. They come again. I'll do them again. People that I didn't know real well came and said, oh my goodness, we miss you so much. I'm thinking, well, now you tell me, And so, yes, short answer again, I'm just talking is, you're right. There is a familiarity. Like, how did you see through me? That concerned me when Jim first met me, is like, stop looking at me like that. Not that he was doing anything. It was like, stop knowing this about me. The shame and the exposure. It was, he did nothing. All he did was hold up a mirror. And patience. Oh my goodness. Patience of Job, with me. Other than that, I'm excited for the young people for coming on board. I'd love to have people around this region where I am, somebody in town, somebody, even if it's a glass of beer and nothing, it's something that tells me, again, it's one step to that MA. I can wear the pin,